1,000 a day fine or 10,000?
He's at 1,000 right now.
Yeah.
He has not done anything to shut the dam, hasn't done a thing. They addressed it Monday night or Tuesday morning. I guess the lawyers were contacted and state's now taking charge. Who knows what will happen in the end?
Well, this will see whether or not the DEM has the teeth that they need to back up.
The problem is DEM has to be careful because Doug does have one of those, he does have a standing point.
Let you know you guys are live right now. Sorry, I just wanted to get it going before. So we are live streaming tonight for a period of time. If I don't get a form or whatever, I'm going to turn it off because the sewer committee is supposed to meet. We'll give it to them. But I'm just a little bit nervous not having anybody here yet if someone was coming in through the
No,
Zoom.
that's good.
So,
Yeah.
So I want to get it going. It looked like someone was coming in. So we'll wait a few more minutes here.
Oh, no. That's right. We were talking about good things. So. So one of our association members, she said she's been fishing for 16 years. Has never caught a bass, caught a 5-pound bass. She was so excited. I mean, she was holding it like this was small. She was so happy.
Now, what do you have up there for fish?
Bass and pickle, perch, some catfish, and a lot of panfish, a lot of bluegills.
Yeah.
So it's great for the kids.
Mhm.
And you're familiar with keeping kids fishing?
Yes.
So Gratian is bringing the whole group to the beach on Sunday. And it's a great place for them to learn because it's safe.
It is. Hi, Dina. Come on in. I'm Herb.
It's safe.
Nice to meet you. Have a seat. We are working live right now. This is Tom Pendergast.
Hi,
Tom.
Hi, how do you do?
How are you?
You didn't see anybody else in that parking lot, did you? Okay.
Kind of wandering
Okay. Sorry, yeah, it's a big building and some people go across the way first. And,
I almost did that, but I didn't.
Okay, good. So I'm, just because in the interest of time, I'm going to get going. From tonight. You folks are the 3 folks of the 5 available to make up the Conservation Commission. Jerry has been on the Markowitz, right? Is the Narkowitz, that's right. Is he's been a longtime member of the Conservation Commission and he's interested in continuing on it, but he has to get reappointed. So we were hoping that he would be here tonight, just to be part of the conversation, but I think he'll probably start participating as soon as he gets reappointed. So in the meantime, it's the 3 of you. I'm officially going to open this meeting up and solicit the chair, as a new chair. And then, so actually all of you are probably going to be officers because there's 3 officers. So the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary. Until we get there. So basically the chair runs the meeting, the vice chair, in the absence of the chair, will run the meetings and that sort of thing. And then the secretary will be responsible for basically the minutes.
And it's out of 5?
There's a total of 5 members that are authorized under the town manager charter, whatever it is. So we still have 2 vacancies. I'm assuming Gary will make up one of those. So if you know somebody else that might want to serve, please let me know. We can work that through the process. It's supposed to be just at the pleasure of the town manager, but over the years, somehow the council's gotten involved a little bit, so the council may go through an interview process with anybody that's interested. I think we have to do that or something. Yeah. So it'll be that same process. Technically, the chapter says it's just the town manager's appointment at the pleasure, serve at the pleasure of the town. So that's, I'm not going to upset that part because it's got to go through the council and go through the council. I do know that Lynn, who's on the advisory committee for the comp plan, Lynn, you know what I'm talking
Right,
about.
yeah,
Worked for
it's your
DM,
face,
worked for
yeah,
DM
yeah.
forever and all that. She originally was interested in this, but because of her serving on the advisory committee, and she's actually just was appointed to the land trust. You can't sit in the two at the same time frame. And her interest is more in the land trust, so that's where she went. So again, there's a vacancy from there. As I explained to the other folks, we're just predominantly tonight, we're going to go through and try to get the reorganizational thing done. Talk a little bit about what direction we may want to head in, and then let the meeting go. At that point, okay. And if I don't see anybody in the next couple minutes, I'm going to shut that down because there's a sewer committee meeting that's would like to also use the Zoom, so I want to give it to them since we not having it. But I'm going to give it a little fair time frame for someone to jump on if they want to. So, first of all, is there anybody that wants to serve as chair to make it easy, or go through the hard way of throwing stones at each other? So,
So I did bring my book.
yes.
So I do have some understanding of the rules,
Yeah.
and I would be happy to volunteer.
Anybody else that wants to serve?
Is it appropriate if we just took a minute and introduce ourselves?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Please.
sorry.
I'm Herb Durfee. I'm the new director of planning and development here. Been here about, I don't know, 3 months. Feel like it's been 3 years. Still drinking out of the fire hose and trying to capture everything that I'm dealing with. Obviously, I inherit these type of things and trying to get them up and running besides everything else. But the real focus that I'm on is the comprehensive plan, getting that to a point where we can get it across the finish line this line, and also trying to sort of recapture the form and procedure that we should be going through in this particular office. I think it's gotten a little out of hand in the last few years, and it's more, I think, led by the hand of the developer potentially than the town having a vision and what it really wants to see for its particular community. So the comprehensive plan will sort of give that vision, and hopefully I can work with that vision and our regulations update and then get us back into a situation where we're kind of moving Coventry the way that we want to, rather than other people. So many words. Yeah.
So my name is Dina O'Brien, and my husband, my daughter, and I live on the evening. We're from Lake Furnace, so not too far from here. We moved to Coventry maybe 5 years in September that we built our house over on Lake Furnace. Medical malpractice. But always been interested in government health.
My name's Matt Toll. I live on 38 Indian Trail over on the pond. I work for a company, J. Avinagra. I do a lot of land revitalization, wetland stuff. And even growing up and on the side, when I'm up in Maine, I work with water quality, water testing, the local lakes and rivers. And I'd like to see some changes as far as the way we let our natural resources in this town go to waste, whether it's for land development or just thrown to the side.
Tom Pendergast, I think you and I moved to Coventry the same year, 2017.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, September 2017.
Yeah, my wife and I bought a house on Upper Dam Pond on White Rock Road. So we've lived there since March of 2017. I'm the vice president of the newly formed Upper Dam Pond Conservation Association. We did that because the lake that we bought in February was gorgeous in February, and in June you couldn't see the water because of aquatic invasive species. So we built an association, we raised the money, and we cleaned the lake, and it's gorgeous now, and it will remain that way because of our due diligence. So before that, I spent 20 years in technology consulting, and I led large global teams on projects. So I know a bit about project management and understand the nuts and bolts of that kind of stuff. And I serve not only on that association, but I'm also on the advisory council for the comprehensive plan, and now on this team as well. So and my two most important issues, wastewater and stormwater. So I think those two would be very appropriate from an area for this group to be talking about, because it has such an impact on the waterways.
If you know Robert's rules well enough with small groups, they, if you will get into the rules of procedure and stuff, but if you guys are okay with it, you should be able to do stuff enough by consensus, or at least only with a motion. You don't have to second stuff in a small group. So hopefully you can operate from a sense of consensus. I think if we do when we adopt the rules of procedure, it speaks to certain things that you have, and it speaks to Robert's rules as the default in case there's something that isn't in there from that standpoint. But I think you're probably the type that wants to operate as informally, be formal when you need to, but operate informally as much as you can, so we don't bog down with procedure. So where I was headed with that was that if Tom's willing to serve as chair, it's a general consensus that Tom can serve as chair. You got it. Now you got to get a vice chair and a secretary.
Okay.
And then we'll go.
Well, if it was that easy, I would say volunteers for vice chair or secretary.
Which one do you want to read?
Well, I've spoken to you about it. My involvement with my house getting rebuilt and being on the road, I'd like to give as much as I can, but until my house is done. So vice chair is gonna be tough.
Okay, I'll do vice chair then,
Okay.
and then
I guess I'll be the secretary.
If the other way of thinking at it is if we think that Jerry's going to get on board, if it would make sense to, table the other ones, or at least appoint the secretary and hold off on vice chair or something, we could wait till Jerry's here to see if he wanted to serve as an officer, or we can switch it up at some point.
I think he was actually chair.
He was
for
chair,
a
yeah.
long time.
Right.
Knowing Jerry, I know Jerry pretty well. He's probably trying to back away from some of this stuff. I know he's the president of the Lake Tioga Association, and I think he's thinking about backing away from that as well.
Okay.
So, but valuable from a perspective of understanding what this group has been trying to do in the town for a long time. So,
So Matt, when I'm in attendance in the meetings and stuff, I can obviously help with the minutes and all that sort of stuff, prepare it just to, and have you sign off on that sort of thing before it comes to the group. If I'm not here,
I'll be writing
I'll
away.
be writing away, yeah. And basically all you have to do for the Open Meetings Act is really just start the meeting, any motions or actions that were taken, who's in attendance, and just basically kind of record that. And that's all that's allowed under the statute. Obviously, people enjoy minutes that have a little bit more meat on the bones from that standpoint. I would say if there's anything that is of consequence, that probably the minutes should reflect a little bit more than just any action that was taken. So
and because typically it would be what we've done, not what we said.
right.
But we could also have, there are certain points of view or things that are important from a meeting perspective. I would agree.
Right. Especially legislative intent. Like if someone you guys decide to do something and it's important to say, here's the reason why we're doing it. It's important to capture that as well. So 10 years from now, when none of you are here, and including me, that someone can pick up what the action was, or at least what it was generally about from that standpoint. That's purpose. So
Are there past minutes available from this group
there are, yes.
in the archives somewhere?
Yeah, I've got, so yes, and I can, what I can try to do is,
Or are there the library?
the Secretary of State, so I'm sorry, I'm used to Vermont, not Rhode Island, but in Rhode Island, the Secretary of State, you're supposed to put all your minutes and stuff up on their site. And I know that our town uses that fairly regularly. I'd have to check on the Conservation Commission to see if there are minutes up there from that standpoint. I know that I have minutes in the computer here. What I want to do is, if it's just easy to send a link to the Secretary of State to you folks to say, hey, go check this out for minutes, great. If it really isn't well done, what I can do is try to pull something together that's either an email with the most recent sets of minutes, say over the last few years, when there were actual meetings, or at least try to set up some kind of a Dropbox, if you're familiar with Dropbox. Dropbox is a sort of like an online place where you can go look at files and stuff, and it's a shared, it's like a shared mailbox, and could dump stuff in there, because if there's a lot of them, that's going to take up some space, and that's the easiest way to go find those things. So,
Does the town use any kind of a collaborative tool, like, I don't know, Google Docs or things
we
like
have
that?
up on the town webpage, we have we have our calendar part of our webpage in terms of a joint sharing, a place to share, mutually share docs. I don't think we have that. If it's out there, I'm not aware of it right now.
Okay.
I know we have some kind of like a little FTP, but it's not a true FTP where we can do that. So if there, the only if we do something like that, or something like if you had Google Docs and started to welcome people into that sort of thing, we have to be really careful about the Open Meeting Act and all that sort of stuff, and what goes in there as it pertains also to the Public Records Act. So we want to, for the most part, try to minimize that stuff so that we don't. The problem is if you start having electronic debates and discussions, it's an open meeting violation.
Right.
So that's what we want to be careful of, is that we're not just having a discussion or debate outside of a particular meeting. And we can talk further about that.
Yeah, I can call Ben as well and see what we can do from a town technology perspective, because I certainly don't want to be sending emails back and forth. I don't think we want to do that.
Sorry, I'm getting the thing right.
Signing on vice chair, signing on secretary. We have a quorum. Regular monthly meeting schedule, time and locations. Is this room available?
Yeah, generally this room is available. Yeah.
So, and I think it was every second Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Does that work? Do we have to reserve the room? Or?
What I can do is we'll make sure that I can do it.
So it's the second Wednesday,
Okay.
6 p.m. here. So, and I think the other parts, rather than go through all this, I don't know if you had the opportunity to read this material. If you have, we don't need to review it, but I think we have to review it one by one.